Levon Aronian once more, or will we see something different? And here it comes. Levon is itching for a fight, and we're going to find out whether Vladislav is going to develop the light square bishop like he did in game one, or do something else.
So far it's the same as game one. Both sides opening with their queen's pawn, and Levon Aronian playing this flexible knight jump, not going for the queen's gambit yet. And as Yifan mentioned, last time he jumped out with this light square bishop, Artemiev, he could well just push a pawn here, he could just bring his own knight out. I do normally think that if you've had success in a game previously, you should just repeat that opening, and that's why Artemiev does bring his bishop out. And Levon Aronian continuing to push his pawns. This is exactly what we saw earlier, but first, different move. White's knight coming to the side of the board first. Earlier in the previous game, Levon Aronian delayed that decision. So it's still similar to that previous game, but Levon mixing things up slightly. And I like Artemiev's strategy here. I have noted in the past that he likes to surprise his opponents. He values that element of surprise extremely highly, but no, he was very solid in game one of today, and now game three he's trying that same approach. And now, Yifan, you mentioned you were expecting this queen to jump out soon. The consequence of Black's bishop bringing itself out early is that it does leave one pawn undefended on this B line, that white queen attacking a pawn, and it's already creating some threats. Vladislav Artemiev, he ignores that attack, he brings out his knight. That's a pawn sacrifice temporarily, potentially, but that black knight is attacking white central pawn. So Artemiev meeting a threat with a counter threat.
Yeah, and there's no way that white should be even dreaming about capturing that pawn. It is not a free pawn, it is a poison pawn, because if white were to capture it, then the black knight would jump forward, and there's many points in the position, and one of them is that the black knight will now be about that pawn move. I mean, it's just one pawn that has gone rogue and decided to start to threaten white's king. And look, once again, Levon Aronian playing incredibly quickly. He just retreats his queen. And now after pawn takes pawn, rook takes pawn. And wow, you know, actually, this game reminds me a little bit about our game. that we played in the British Championships, and it wasn't so much our game, it was actually the comments of the English women's team captain at the time, John Spillman, and he sat me down and he played through our game and he said to me, "Now, Yovi, what did you do here? His pieces were struggling for purpose. You, with this trade, gave David's piece some purpose, and then you did it again and again." And I was like, oh, I take your point. And I feel a little bit the same. I mean, White's rook had nothing to do. Now look at it, on an open line, causing problem. White's bishop was really bad, it was looking at a wall. Well, it wasn't really bad, but it was looking at a wall. Now look at it, it's got all of the light squares, and I'm just thinking it's a little bit too accommodating.
Yeah, suddenly you're right, White's rook is broken onto its best square, and you can even see that white rook slide across. There's an open line on the king side. If you look at the black king, there's one open line, there's one route towards it, and that's on the H line. So White's rook could just bring itself there, maybe line it up with the queen later on, and there's going to be checkmating threats all over the place. Black's last move with his rook, just trying to keep everything nice and solid, protected. The other black rook will swing across, and that opening of the position. Yes, Black's got a square in the center of the board for his knight, but it's given White too much probably in return. So, it might well rebound. And there we see the white bishop springing forward, attacking the black rook. Now the white rooks are lining up as well. Everything's starting to make sense for White. Levon, he's so good in the flow with the momentum. As soon as you give him one chance of an attack, he's gonna jump upon it.
He's sniffed it out, hasn't he? Look at those two rooks, and you have a tail of 4 rooks, and I just really like what Levon has done now. A really calm move, tucking the queen to the right, and it looks like it's just protecting the pawn, but actually it's got bigger ideas than my time difference. I love the move that David suggested, the queen diving out, threaten, and it's on the board, the most aggressive there, and the problem here is that White is actually threatening checkmate. The queen is just going to align herself with the bishop. They're going to give check to the black king. Black king must move, and then it'll be checkmate. And mate into threatened on the board. And I think the only thing to do is perhaps to try to swap off queens. Black needs to start diffusing the attack.
Yeah, it's desperate times now for Artemiev, and that's one tip. If you're being attacked, if you know your opponent's queen is the one that's actually the main attacker trying to checkmate you, you just have to swap her off. That's why the black queen, I think, is strictly forced right now. Other moves might survive, but you just have to get rid of that white queen at some point. So bring the black queen the whole way across onto the same H line, challenge the white queen. That trade, I think White can even go for it and still have a big advantage, but that's the best chance of survival now. Anything else, you're going to get checkmated in a few moves simply, especially when you have no time. Wow,
Doesn't do it.
Doesn't play that move. That feels reckless.
Yeah,
almost.
it's like
Why can't White?
Sorry?
Sorry, no, you go on.
No, you go on.
Okay, why can't White just bring his rook across now? Is he not just winning immediately? He's threatening checkmate in one move by bringing his queen to the top of the board. It's game over. There's no defense for Black. Why didn't he trade the queens? Look at Artemiev. He just underestimated this attack.
Yeah, the king can't even go for a run. I mean, it can't step forward and try to make its bid for freedom. There's just no way out.
I think he was planning to bring the black queen across, but that doesn't save him. White would actually go up anyway. Okay, he does it. White's going to give check with his queen. When the king moves, White's bishop's going to go out the way and attack the black queen, winning a knight in the process. Artemiev resigns.
It's over! Wow! Levon Aronian in Game 3 in the final wins it. He is now up by 1 point in the big final. Look at him! No smile. It's just fighting face. Impressive stuff by Levon.
I mean, he's been touched by the goddess of chess, Cassia. You know, when he's losing, he manages to draw. When he's winning, you know, he just powerfully puts the game away. What can I say? It did look like Artemiev showed a little bit too much respect for Aronian and was a little bit accommodating in that game. So tough loss there.
And what are they doing here, David? Both of them.